Oh my goodness, that's a great one. Hey guys, on today's Reels and Ridges episode, we start off by trying to go flow tubing on a lake, but as you'll see, we run into some major issues and have to call an audible. So come along with us as we pivot and we take what started off as not the greatest day and we turn it into actually a pretty decent day of fishing. Well guys, not a great start to the day. I was pumping up my float tube and I thought it was taking a long time to pump up. Turns out it was, because after I got it pumped up I could hear a very loud whooshing sound, which any of you who have ever blown up anything with air in it know that that's not a great sound. So it turns out there's a gaping hole in the bladder of one of my pontoons, and that's pretty much the end of my float tube. So I bought that float tube in the summer of 2004 when I was 19 years old. I am now 35 years old, so that tells you how long I have had that float tube. So a little bit sad, but that's the end of it. The frame was on borrowed time, the bladder's now broken. It was probably time to get a new one long ago, but definitely got my money's worth out of that, so it is what it is. Jordan's gonna take his float tube, he's gonna get out on this lake that we've never been to before and see if he can catch some fish. I'm gonna stay on the shore and see if I can do the same. So we're gonna make some lemonade out of this and see what happens. Well guys, since Reed is out of commission on the float tube, I am fishing and filming at the same time, so we'll see how well I can do that, because usually I'm fairly mediocre at both. So we'll see. To add to the issues we've been having today, I had a self-inflicted issue where I left my hat, which also had my sunglasses on it. So we're really batting 1,000 today. Odds might be against us, but we'll see if maybe our luck turns around. Alright guys, so we fished that lake for a little bit longer, weren't getting any bites. Reed's float tube had the hole in it, so we decided to just kind of call an audible and go to a different spot. Yeah, we're looking for a creek or a river that we can both fish at. We don't know this area super well, so we're waiting to get some service. There's no service out here either, but hopefully we can look something up. But calling the audible, and we will check in once we figure out what we're doing. Well, we saw the river way down at the bottom of this canyon where we were driving, so we pulled off and took this random road. Now we're just kind of walking down the road and seeing where it goes. Found that road, only went maybe another 50 yards or so and then terminated into a trail. So we're going to follow the trail and hope that it gets down to the water. We're not actually sure how far away the water is, but
we know it goes there because there was no box.
Right, we know there's water down here because there was an angler survey box. So hopefully get there within like 20 minutes or so. But so far, pretty cool hike. So we just got down here. Obviously there's a river right down here that we've kind of been following, but I just got to this kind of big open pool and noticed that there's an entirely different river coming in here. So we got the convergence of the two forks here, so could be good. All right guys, well we finally made it down to the river. We lost about, I think it was 250 feet of elevation according to my Garmin watch. Just got the watch, kind of cool. I'll put a link in the description if anybody's interested. But yeah, 250 feet in a pretty short amount of time. So I think it's gonna be a tough walk out since it's pretty steep. But you can look over my shoulder here. The water's looking really good. There's some really deep pools and it's a beautiful area. So I'm really looking forward to fishing this. All right, Jordan just caught the first fish of the day, a little rainbow. Pretty fish.
Yeah, real pretty.
All right, Reed just caught one across the river from me. A little out of breath because I just had to run across the river to get over here, but let's see what he's got. Unfortunately, this one looks a little bit bigger than mine. fortunately for me. We gotta start catching fish that are bigger than the net. That's becoming a thing lately.
You gotta get a different net.
I think I'd rather have the fish production get better, but okay.
Well, yeah, me too, but I don't know how much today we got in that net.
All right, after a lengthy entanglement for both Jordan and I, we are back on the water. Jordan just hooked up. I just had a bite. The fishing is, ow, sorry, getting good. Let's go ahead and net this sucker. Bring them on in. Fighting a lot better than the last one. Wow. I just saw you. Oh yeah, that's a good one. Sorry viewers, I have a bug on me. Oh my goodness, that's a great one. For this river, would seem. Whoever's watching this. Right on. Oh man, that's a really good fish. Really good fish. Wow. We might have caught one that won't slip through the net. That's pretty. That is a pretty fish. Man, look at those orange fins with the white tip. That was the first thing I saw when he was coming up, so I can zoom in on his fins. When he was coming through the water. Oh, he's unhooked. He's out.
Look at those fins.
Beautiful. Put him up in the sunlight.
Beautiful.
Great.
Yeah, great fish.
All right, looks like Reed's hooked up again. Oh, for God's sake. All right, Reed, what's going on?
I gotta get a new net, okay? Not every fish I catch is a monster. I'm sorry, okay? But they all slipping through this net. This one. I mean, the fish are not that small. I mean, I get it. I'm not catching 10-pounders every time, but this is getting ridiculous. That's the fourth fish I've landed today, and the third one that escaped through the net before we got a chance to video it.
Well,
so, I'd love to catch some bigger ones, but give me a break here. God.
and the really unfortunate thing about that fish is that I got video of it, but we accidentally had the camera in slow motion mode. So actually, I guess maybe we can use some of that.
So we'll have some slow motion
So we'll have
video.
some slow motion video of that, hopefully. Jordan's hooked up in the same hole that I was just fishing. Looks like a nice one. Says it's a nice one. Hopefully it fits in the net. That seems to be a theme. The current's pretty strong, so maybe that's all that's making it feel nice. Bring him over on the other side of that rock. Nice. A rainbow. Nice. reeds hooked up.
This one's got the nice white fins too.
Oh, nice. Looks like he stayed in the net this time.
Yeah, for now.
For now.
Oh.
There. And there he goes.
He literally stayed in the net the entire time I sat here. Waited for Jordan to bring me the camera. Let him film the fish. I went to grab the fish and he weaseled through the net. I'm bringing a new net next time, so don't at me in the comments.
All right, well, this one's definitely not gonna fit in the net.
No, it is not. I don't know how that stayed so good on a barbel.
All right.
This fish is
gone.
Doesn't really matter if I have the net or not. I'm just gonna drop them and they're gonna get away. So I hope you guys like videos where you can almost see a fish that somebody caught, because this channel is absolutely for you. Well guys, the day's about done. We're gonna, as I mentioned in the first part when we first got down here, this is kind of the convergence of two forks of the river. So we're gonna go up the one fork we didn't go on. It's got a little more current to it. Most of the fish we've caught today, especially on the Euro setup, has been in places that are a little shallower with a little more current. A lot of these bigger pools, you know, there's some current to them, but they're like 12, 15 feet deep, so they're a little harder to fish. We've caught some fish in there, but had the most luck, especially Euro nymphing, in the faster, shallower water, and that seems to be what that fork is, at least right here where it comes in. So let's try to get a couple more. Today's just not my day. I'm catching a lot of fish, but that one was like wrapped up in the line. I was trying to get him out. I'm done making excuses. I take full responsibility for the just general suckness that has been my fish handling today. But back to it. Oh, he ate the streamer. Look guys, I caught one and it's big enough to stay in the net. After the last one where I said my general suckness all day, seriously the next cast I caught a fish. And we're totally redeemed myself.
That's probably your biggest one today.
Yeah, pretty close.
Yeah, nice.
Noise.
Super dark.
I came around this big rock. I couldn't see the river at all, and as soon as I came around it, I was like, I knew there was going to be a fish in there. Sure enough, first cast, got him.
This one can escape through the net, so I had to be careful. Jordan went back down to get his pack, and seriously, right after he left, I caught a fish. It's the same hole that Jordan was in. He went to get his pack, and I stole it from him. He told me I could, so I guess it's technically not stealing. Hey guys, well after our rough start to the day with a broken float tube and a lake that wasn't producing any fish, we decided to pivot to our plan B, came down to this river. We've never fished here before, and we had a great day. Probably caught a couple dozen fish all totaled. Great, really pretty rainbows, orange fins, white tips, super cool fish, super cool place too. So definitely had a great day. So we hope you guys enjoyed watching. If you're interested in any of the gear we used in this video, from fishing poles to watches to camera gear, check out the links in the description. Thanks for watching guys, and please like, comment, and subscribe.